Mrs. Murty, it is such a pleasure to be in conversation with you in your home city. So, okay, so I'll let me start by promising you all that I will leave lots of time for audience questions. I know you all have lots of questions for her, and we only have 30 minutes, so let's get started. So, Mrs. Murty, you have led multiple lives. You've been in the tech field. You've been a philanthropist. You've been a founder. You've been a teacher. You're a I think probably India's most beloved storyteller. Which of these hats is your favorite hat?
Well, teacher, I suppose, because teachers are storytellers.
So was it when you were a teacher that you realized that you at heart were a storyteller also?
Yeah, I used to teach technical subject, computer science, Java, C++, Pascal, database management. And it used to be an hour class. 45 minutes I will teach technical subject. 15 minutes I will tell a story with my experience, which is not in the syllabus, which is not taught at home, which is not even taught in the college. Like, accept failures in life. That's what I used to tell my students. Accept failures in life. Second thing, pick up the fights. Not everything you have to fight. Third one is have tolerance. This is a very unusual lesson. Tolerance for, many ways I can put it. Tolerance for failures. Or not successful. If you are not successful, have that tolerance. Or tension. Because children are grown up today, whatever they want, touch a screen, you get it. And with one child, two child a day, one child or two children per couple, children get what they want. And life is not like that. Life is not touch screen. You touch screen, you may not get anything. And that children have to accept that in life. Life calculations are different. Computer calculations are different. Syllabus is different. Life has a very unusual syllabus, unusual set of difficulties, unusual set of successes. So these are my lessons in the form of a story. I will tell 15 minutes out of 1 hour. So when my students became very successful in life, later I asked them, children, I taught you database, C++, Java. Which one was so useful to you in real life? They said, none of them, ma'am, only your stories.
So I'm not at all surprised you went from writing code to writing stories. But if I asked you, what is the first story that made you realize that there is a power in narrative, that there's a power in storytelling that doesn't come from just teaching?
I authored a book by the name Mahashweta, first in Kannada, later in English. And one day I got a wedding invitation, a wedding to remember, at the end I have added. I got an invitation saying that, ma'am, if you don't come, then we consider we are very unfortunate that you did not attend our wedding. I said, this is quite a filmy type, Second thing is, I just saw the name and it did not ring the bell. Who are the people? Because I used to teach in college and many children get married. But this name was not ringing in my mind. Then I thought, maybe I have forgotten because they are in pre-university level. They look different. And when they come to marriageable age, they look different. Okay, with makeup, etc. In the marriage, they look entirely different. So I thought maybe one of my students is getting married, but I was not sure. It was, in Bangalore, flights are well connected. It is a great city. But unfortunate thing in Bangalore, the roads are very bad. So the wedding was other end of the city. It was in Yeshwantpur. I stay in Jayanagar. Imagine. It's as good as going to Mysore is much better going to Yeshwantpur. So my father was alive at that time. And I told my father, it's a very unusual invitation. The codes are very unusual. He said, no, let's attend that wedding. Let's see what it is. So we went to the wedding hall. And I saw the couple, but I was not able to recognize them at all. And they said, oh no, come have lunch. And I said, I'm a freeloader, how can I eat like that? Without even knowing who is who. They said, no, you have lunch and we'll meet the couple later. And I said, okay, anyway. We went that end after 2 hours, so we ate our lunch. Then I went to meet the couple and I told them, because I come from a land where we speak directly. We don't speak back at the back. We always speak. What is in our mind, it comes through our mouth. I said, I do not know both of you. You have written such a letter to me. I come for the wedding, but I do not know who you are. Okay, they said, yes, you do not know us. You are not your students. You are not your acquaintance, but you are your readers. I was surprised. But every reader will not call me for a wedding, no? Then I don't have to have kitchen at all. I can build a house without kitchen. But it doesn't happen that way. So I said, in what way I'm connected to you? There are many people who read my books. The boy said, I was engaged to this girl. I knew her for a long time, school friend. I was engaged to her. Then I got an offer, job offer to Dubai. I went there. And wedding was after 8 months. And when I came back, I came to know that she has developed leukoderma. So I refused to marry her and I broke the engagement. Everyone was unhappy, but I felt it that way. While going back, I took some books of yours and I wrote about leukoderma, that is Mahashweta. Ati Shwetaha Mahashwetaha. Everyone wants a fair wife, but a too fair wife, nobody wants. That is Mahashweta. And I realized when leukoderma affects a lady, what agony she undergoes, and it is a pigmentation, loss of pigmentation. When your hair is grey, you accept. When your skin is white, you don't accept. And sometimes it is reversible, sometimes it may not be. And he felt very sad that he made such decision. He came back and got married to her. And that's the reason they said, you must attend the wedding. That day I realized pen is mightier than the sword.
That is an amazing story. And I have a sneaky suspicion that after hearing this story, you're going to get a lot more wedding invitations.
No, many people also come and tell me in a different way. Ma'am, how did you write our story? Like Dollar Bahu, 30 people have come and told me, when did you come to our house and realize what is going on in our house? How we husband and wife fight? Why did you write? I said, I have not come to your house at all. That is with the common sense I have written. That happens. Some people think that I have written their story, but it's not true. It's a story. It happens in everyone's house.
So you've so often spoken about your grandmother as your first intellectual hero. And I've told you this as well, that the first story of yours that I ever read was how I taught my grandmother to read. Now you yourself are a grandmother as well. So can you tell us about this very special intergenerational relationship that is so central to you as a storyteller, both as a granddaughter and as a grandmother?
Well, grandchildren and grandparents get along very well because they have a common enemy. My time was entirely different and I don't expect the same time with my grandchildren. I grew up in a village and my grandfather was a school teacher and there was no electricity. So there was no digital, like you have a smart phone problem we never had because there was no current electricity at all. So we grew up with books, with good value system, okay? And learning like Danam, Priyavak Sahitam, Shraddha Hidanam, all these things I learned there, that you have to give away certain things in life. You have to be very simple in life. What life means, many things I learned which I never understood, but later I understood all those lessons. And I used to visit my grandparents, whenever it's only 30 miles away. So every weekend, long weekend, everything. I could absorb those things from my grandmother or grandfather. Today, my grandchildren, they stay in a different continent. They are in Europe, they are in London. Their society is so different. So the impact what I can make on my grandchildren is much less than what my grandmother made. I have met one generation of people, particularly in airport, who say that we have read your book, How I Taught My Grandmother. The entire one generation has read that. But today, the same thing I can't do with my grandchildren because I meet them not that often. I'll give a small example. I told my grandchildren, I wanted to tell my grandchildren story of Krishna and Akshay Patra. I have written about that also. I told them Krishna was a naughty boy, and people wanted to complain to Yashoda, your son is very naughty. And one day they went to take bath in river Yamuna, and Krishna came to me and he took their saris and put them up on the Kadamba tree, and they said, okay, Krishna, we are sorry, you are your devotees. And then gave one of the Kadamba tree stories. I told that to my grandchildren, and I said, I want you should tell me the story tomorrow morning. They said, Aji will make some changes. Aji means in Kannada, grandma. I said, okay, make the changes, because after all, they are my granddaughters. They are also budding authors probably later. Make the changes. Next day they said, Krishna was a naughty boy and he used to go to everybody's house, open the refrigerator and eat cheese and paneer. And everyone said, Yashoda has not taught good manners to them. One day it was a winter time and Christmas time, and all aunties wanted to complain to Yashoda that you have to tell your child certain manners. And they were having swimming, and they were complaining, and they heard harmonica, and they thought, oh, Krishna is somewhere else. They came to change their dress, and alas, all the cupboards were open, and all the lockers were open in the swimming pool. Krishna has taken all the keys along with the dress. They were very upset. They called Krishna and said, come down from the 3rd floor. We'll sue you if you don't give. Krishna made an amendment and conclusion. Then they had they decided to have amicable way that you should get us a hot chocolate and a pizza outside. I will give you your dress. This is the Kadamba Ruksha and Gopika Snana, what my granddaughters told me. How will I teach them the values of what I got from my grandmother? I was scared I should never teach them Draupadi Vastraparana. I will have it. Okay. So they live in a different continent with a different context, with a different peer pressure, with a different friends. And what I talk, like Samudra Manthana I told, there were Danavas, there were Rakshasas and Devas, they were fighting for the Amrita. And there's a shloka on that, Lakshmi, Kaustubha, Parijata, Kasura, what all they got. There are 14 things they get, and 13 they got, last one they fought or something. My granddaughter got up and said, Aji, you are extremely unfair. I said, why? Everything what they get, it comes out of the ocean, gods get it. And there's no MOU between gods and the Rakshasas, what they should get, what they should not get. So, let them get the 14th one of the Amrita or the nectar, let them get it. 13, you have got it. I will not accept this, Aji. I said, I understand, you are a daughter of a finance minister and a prime minister, you have a MOUs and all. Whereas when we learned this, we never had a MOU scenario. Aji will tell you, Lakshmi came out, Vishnu married. Kaustubha came it, Vishnu wore it. Hala hala came, the poison came, Shiva drank it. Everything what Aji said, we said yes, yes. We never had the concept of MOU. So the generation is different. The kind of stories we used to accept blindly from my grandmother, I cannot do that with my grandchildren. They will reason out. They have to give them more intellectual answers. That's what I find. And more convincing.
But it's also really cool, right? Because they're young feminists. They're talking about, suing Krishna for violating their rights. I think that is a generation that's grown up on knowing what their rights are.
Yeah, that is true. So mythology cannot be just told the way we have learned. It has to be modified within the the walls given by the Rishi Vyasa, because we are not the originator, but you have to make them convincing. I always tell them it's a symbol. When something happens, Krishna suffered, Rama suffered, it's a symbol. It may not have happened that way. Symbol that suffering is part of life. When you are born, you have joys and you have suffering, and as much as possible, you have to take it in a neutral way. So I have to make it much more neutral way of teaching them than the way my grandmother taught. I can't do that.
So we've talked a little bit about you as a writer for children, but when you write for adults, I think there is something very special about how you see ordinary people and cull out very extraordinary stories from their lives. And there is something very special about that. And I wonder, what do you think it is about you that makes you see the things that not everybody can see?
I'm a creative person. Creative person can create anything. Okay? Dance, music, painting, writing, we are all cousins, or maybe brothers and sisters. We all create. So a good idea, I can create anything. I'll give 2, 3 examples. One day I was eating Alfonso mango. It was so sweet. I said, was mango all? Then I was in Brazil. I saw mangoes on the road. I said, oh, mangoes on the roadside. And they were lying on the footpath. I said, let me taste one of them. I washed and ate one. It was sour. So then I talked to the botanist there. I had some work. Yeah, I happened to meet a botanist. He said, Portuguese brought Alfonso mango sapling from India to Brazil and planted on the roadside because the mango was so sweet. But they became sour in desert, in Brazil, because the water content and the land is so different. Okay? So then I felt it. That means mango could have been sour once upon a time. It became sweet over a period of time. Then let me write a story. Why a mango which was not sweet became sweet. Just by tasting 2 mangoes, one was sour, other one was sweet. How the book has come out, the magic of the mango or sweetness, or how the mango became sweet or something. Any idea which comes and which has a play to role in a smaller area, I can create a story. It could be, like I was talking in a meeting regarding the shipping. In parliamentary we talk about shipping bills, etc. One of the shipping is, even today, 95% of our goods are shipped. Only 5% are airlifted. She plays an important role. That made me to write a story on that. So creative mind will pick up an idea, and like a web design, I feel in computer language, I do a web design keeping a central one theme. So it is, and over a period of time, I'm not writing today, yesterday. I'm writing since 1976 onwards I'm writing. So 24 plus 10, 48 years.
Okay, so this is an interesting segue to a question I've always wanted to ask you, which is, you're used to be a techie and you are a storyteller, and now technology has changed in a pace that we cannot possibly fathom. So let me ask you, can AI ever replace an author?
Yeah. Yeah, AI has become so powerful, many people have lost. I don't know, any one of you have lost money because there is a video, Sudha Murty says 2,000 rupees will become 2 lakhs in a day. Thanks to AI, people have invested, and I felt very sorry for that. AI can imitate your voice. You can also create a dialogue and give wrong impression as well. No, I feel no day AI can replace a story. What is story? It is not a sum of 20 lines or 100 lines or 1,000 lines or 4,000 words. They are with emotions. Stories are told with emotions. And that emotion at times brings tears to you. At times you smile at that. There is a humor in that. There is a tragedy in that. There is a comedy in that. There is an emotion of love and affection, separation. These are all human relation. Human emotions play an important role creating a story. And when you remove the emotion from the story, I came, I saw, I conquer. It is a group of words. And those words cannot move your emotions inside. Because after all, we are all human beings. And emotion play an important role. That's the reason we love our mother. We love our children. We love our dogs. We love our partners. We get upset with our partners as well. It's an emotion. Okay? So these emotions, an AI cannot generate. It can generate an idea, but emotions are particularly only with the human beings. That's the reason no day a computer can be replaced with a human brain, because human brain makes a decision. Computer cannot make decision unless you write a code for that. Second thing, no day human emotion can be transformed into AI. So AI is good for technical innovations. How a house will look in a 3D, how a company, how the computation can be done faster. These are all repetitive technical things. AI is important, but when it comes to human being, it cannot replace a human being. And it's only like how I say, man and women are equal in many ways, but no day a man can become a woman, because woman gives birth to a child. No man can do that. Similarly, AI is good in technical matters, but when it comes to emotion, it cannot be replaced.
I agree with you about that, especially as a publisher. I know the emotional value of storytelling. Okay, so this is not something I would dare to do with a lot of authors, but with you, I know I can. I want to do a rapid fire round. Are
No
you up for it?
problem. You know, there's very easy things, Manasi. My memory is not great. That's why I don't tell lie. If you tell lie, you should remember what did I tell yesterday, day before yesterday. Headache, yeah. Tell truth. Most of the time, except white lies like I had my dinner. You know, if I want to miss, I'm not well. Those things I will manage. So, any question is fine because I tell truth alone. I don't prepare also.
Let's go. One writer who shaped your writing.
There's not one writer. There are many writers who shaped my life.
Best advice you've ever been given.
By my mother, okay? Save money, lead a simple life. That's the reason you can see Infosys today, okay?
Now, of course, I have to ask, worst advice you've ever been given?
Spend more money. My husband says, why are you not spending so much money? Because industry has to come up. He says, the more you buy, the more industries come. I said, thank you, Mr. Murty, you can do, I can't.
Okay. Are you more comfortable writing in Kannada or English?
If it is an emotional novel, I want to write in Kannada because it is my mother tongue. I think in Kannada. You know, my language is so beautiful. It is as good as sugarcane juice, as good as, milk which is sugar. It is as good as butter, clarified butter. For me, my language is supreme. So my emotions I can express in my mother tongue. But when it comes to experiences or technical or something, a column which I write in English. So I have both. I write in Kannada with a shorthand. Actually, I write in shorthand because my I/O devices are not as fast as my CPU because this is faster. This is not that fast. So I write in Kannada in shorthand, and then after 2-3 months, I'll make it a proper thing. Whereas I write all my columns or any experiences, I write in English on the computer. Okay, so both are entirely different.
Do you see yourself more as a writer for children or a writer for adults?
Well, that children should tell me, as a author should tell me. Maybe more of a children, I think, because I like children. And, they are simple, they don't have this complication, no politics, nothing. Their mind is like a wet wall. What you write, it remains there forever. And I gel with them better than elders, I suppose. I want to be recognized more for a children than elders.
What is the one human trait that you think AI can never replicate?
What is the one?
Human trait that you think AI can never replicate?
Have you seen Amir Khan's movie? What is that movie? He comes at the ET Piku. PK. Okay, not Piku. Piku is not Amir Khan. It is Deepika Padukone and Amitabh Bachchan. And she got an award. Tell me about movies. I will tell you everything. PK with Amitabh Bachchan. At the end, she comes to know that he has changed. What AI cannot do is telling a lie. It can't tell lie. We can tell lie. Nobody can think what is in my mind. Okay? Or I can twist the words. I can tell a lie. I can create any things. But AI cannot do that. It cannot tell lie.
If you could force every politician in India to read one of your books, which book would it be?
Why politician? I can tell any reader. Why politician? You tell me. No, I think when it comes to question answer, we will do that one. See, like a mother has many children, she loves every child. For me, all my books are as dear as each one of them. However, over a period of time, your writing methodology changes. And I have seen with my own writing, my first book to my latest book, the method of writing, it becomes tight knitting and closer to more reality. So that way I feel two books. One is 3,000 Stitches. Second one is Here, There, Everywhere. It's a collection actually, where I worked with the poorest of the poor people in India. And they taught me what my country is. My country is not Bollywood. My country is not software. Sorry, Murty. My country is not what you see. My country means my villages, my people, my farmers. And they require good education. They require life surviving education, skills, and 3 times a meal, minimum 3 times dress. And that's what my country is. I realized in my foundation work for 30 years. My whole life changed with the foundation. So I feel all people should read The Reality of Life. I slept and dreamt life was beauty. I got up and realized life was duty. That I did with foundation. So these 2 books I can recommend.
See, I feel extra special because, these are the 2 books of yours that I've edited.
Okay, is it?
Yeah.
Manasi? And I suppose you agree with me.
Yeah. Okay, final question before we go to audience. What is the most rebellious thing that you did as a teenager that your parents still today have never found out about?
No, I was very open with my parents, or maybe my parents were very open with me. So there is nothing hiding I could do. And I never hide, I'm very verbal, okay? What I think, I talk, okay? What I feel, I talk. What I do, I talk. My head, my heart, my hands are all connected through my mouth, okay? What I don't think, I talk. What I don't feel, I talk. What my hands don't do, I talk. I don't do that. All 3 are one. This is a famous quote in Persian language, which is at the entrance of the house of Tatas. Mazda, there which I can't remember. Think, feel, do, and talk the same, which I have done. So I have to wind up, I suppose, no time.
Yeah, we still have time for a couple of audience questions.
Only one, I think. What the rebellious thing which I did was I bobbed my hair, and that was something which my parents could not take it when I was a teenage. They felt it, whole Hubli became, something unusual. A girl has bobbed her hair. So my house address changed. My house name was Saraswati. They would say, oh, that girl who bobbed her hair, take a right turn, 3rd house is hers. Okay? Sir, we will ask one question from you.
The question I want to ask is, there are 3 people in the world today. Sudha, Murty, Kamala Harris, and Hillary Clinton. 3 people joined together can change the history of the world. Can I organize it?
My God. No, sir. No day I'm one of the 3, and not 1 by 3 at all. They are great politicians, great experienced, and I am an ordinary person. I enjoy simple things in life. A good rain, a good book to read, a good conversation, and ಒಂದು ಮೊಳ ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. Okay? ಒಂದು ಮೊಳ ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. A box of Dharwad peda, another box of Mysore Guru Sweets, Mysore Pak. That is my life, sir. A good Mysore silk sari and Ilkal sari and Jawar roti with kutu of Mysore. I am happy. Let me not go into the bigger deals. I'll be very happy. ಏನು ಬೇಡಲಿ ದೇವ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ನೀನಿತ್ತ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯ ನಿಬಿಡವಾಗಿರಲು. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್. ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ.
We'll take a question from...
Excuse me.
I think there's no time if I'm not mistaken. One more question. Kids, if you want to have my time, you should come to my college where I teach endlessly. Our 2 periods, join together. Here I can't do. Yes, beta.
How do you get the inspiration for some of your bunch of stories? Like, let's say the book, like The Bird with Golden Wings. How did you get the inspiration for those stories?
Well, every writer has their own source of inspiration. For me, children are my source of inspiration for children book. Because I want to tell you, don't compare with someone. If somebody does good, be happy. Don't crib. Don't feel jealous. And that I convert into a story, The Bird with the Golden Wings. So, whatever I want to teach you moral lesson, I will not give you lessons directly.
You're amazing.
Or I will make it a story and tell you. Dhanyavad.